And good morning. We're live. Hi, David.
Hey, Delinda.
This is great. I'm just so glad we found a time that worked in your schedule that you could join us this morning.
I am too. But up bright and early. Left the family behind. They're all getting dressed. But I got to go. I got a show to do.
I know when we're out here in Vegas, 7:30 is pretty early. You guys have it so great. I mean, what you had to shave and comb your hair, but we got to do the makeup and the hair, and the earrings, and because I'm not going to show myself in public without it. So let's just be clear.
I wake up looking like this every day.
Well, you are truly blessed. Yeah, when I'm in Kansas City, so I don't know that you know this, but for about 4 years, my husband was consulting and work in Kansas City, which is where we moved here from. And so since he was there and we had an apartment there, I would go into Kansas City 1 week a month and do my show from there, as well as hold luncheons every single day in different parts of town. And so the show was at 9:30, and that was easy, man.
Easy peasy. Yeah, 9:30. Boy, halfway through the day.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh my gosh. So as we say good morning, I'd like to just type a little something in the chat box just to make sure it is working. There we go. And we'll see who is on here with us this morning.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. Okay, so good. You can see it as well.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, and some point during the morning, just type in your contact information, whatever you like, your website or your Facebook page or whatever you'd like people to know so they can begin to follow you. If
I don't even know how to do that. How do I put that?
Now, can you, in the chat box where you see it, can you see where it says to type down there? Just it says hello.
I don't have anything to type in.
Okay, so maybe that's just on my end. I don't know. Well, then I will do it. So what is your website? Your name, right?
I'm www.daviddendy.com.
Let me make sure I typed it correctly. There we go. Hi, Karen. Good morning. Nice to see you. Karen's one of my faithful friends and fun gal in Kansas City. So did I get it right? David Dendy.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. Carrie, good morning. And Carrie's joining this morning. So some of you, if you just recall, you have to click that little link that says, yes, Facebook can tell me your name. Otherwise, if you make a comment, it'll just say Facebook user. And you can always say, hi. Terry and I were talking about that the other day. So you can always say, hi, this is Terry if it doesn't show. But if you just click that link, you only have to do it once. And then every week, it'll give you that permission. So anyway, well, David, tell us just a little bit about you. We don't have too many men come on the show, so this is even extra exciting.
Love it. Surrounded by women, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
There you go.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm David Dendy. I live here in Las Vegas. I'm a pastor of the Mountain View Presbyterian Church, and I've been in Las Vegas for 6 years now. And I grew up in Southern California and down Orange County. In the OC, as they call it now. They didn't call it that when I was growing up. And went to college at Davidson College in North Carolina, home of Steph Curry. That's where Steph Curry went to college. If you're a basketball fan, Golden State Warriors.
Sorry, not.
And so I went from there. I went to seminary in Richmond, Virginia. I've served churches in Augusta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Klamath Falls, Oregon. Took a little break, did some consulting work, helping churches raise money for capital stewardship campaigns. So if your church wants to raise money for educational wing or a new worship center or something like that, I come in and help you raise the money. And so I've helped 100 churches raise over $200 million.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's a phenomenal process, and to watch a church, every church it goes through the same experience. We need to raise all this money. We'll never do it. It's never going to happen. And then you come in, you start kind of working the plan, and then pretty soon people are like, oh, I think we can do this. And then by the end, we did do this. I mean, it's
wow, that's exciting.
God works through that.
Yeah.
And then I have served as a university vice president, vice president for philanthropy, helping the university raise money and alumni affairs, all that kind of stuff. And so, but here I am back with the love of my life, the church. And so the church is a wild and crazy institution, as you well know, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Oh, that is great. Oh my gosh. You moved here from, you said you've been here 6 years, and where was the last where you came from?
Moved here from Houston, Texas.
Oh, from Houston. Okay.
And I love Las Vegas because there's no mosquitoes and there's no humidity and no hurricanes, no tornadoes, and not much rain either. So.
Sure. Yeah, it's much drier here. Yeah, Houston's a pretty wet place.
Oh boy. And even when it's not raining, it's wet. I mean, 90% humidity, and whew, it's hard to put socks on in Houston. Feet are always kind of damp, the humidity.
Wow.
I'm married to Julie. Julie, I've been married for 20 years now, and
yay.
She's a physical therapist, and so she does a great job at that. She works at a rehab hospital here in town. And then we have 2 children, Faith and Joshua, who are only 5 months apart in age. So
now that's a pretty interesting thing. That must have a story.
It does have a story. We decided we didn't want to do the whole 9-month gestation period. Just new drugs these days, you get them in and out in 5 months, it's great. You didn't do the whole 9-month thing, did you? I mean, so Jude and I got married, tried to get pregnant for 3 or 4 years, nothing happening. And then we moved to Klamath Falls, Oregon, and I called up a friend of mine who lived in Northern Oregon, who's a pastor, and secretary answered the phone, and I knew who she was. Her name's Joan, and I'm like, Joan, David Dendy, how are you? And she says, oh, I'm a little stressed these days. I said, how come? What's going on? She said, well, my husband, Brian, who I know very well as well, said, well, Brian's daughter from previous marriage, she's living with us, and she just moved here from Hawaii. I said, oh, how old is she? Oh, she's 17. Oh, wow. Well, what's going on? Well, she's pregnant. And I said, oh, well, what are you going to do with the baby? Well, we don't know. I said, well, if you want to get the baby for adoption, Julie and I will adopt the baby. And she said, you will? And I said, let me talk to Julie. Maybe I should talk to Julie first about this. And so that was on a Monday. And Joan said, I'll have Brian call you tomorrow. I said, okay. So Brian called me the next day, Tuesday, and he said, you're not gonna believe this. I said, well, do tell. He said, Barbara, that's his daughter. Barbara was at youth group on Sunday at the church. And this was her prayer. Lord, I want to give this baby up for adoption, but I'm not going to go find the people. You're going to have to bring the people to me. And I called the next day.
Wow.
And it just, it's just an amazing story. And so Barbara and Brian and Joan, they came down the next weekend for us to meet everybody. And we just kept kind of meeting about every few weeks. And then in January, that was in latter part of November of 2004. And then in January of 2005, she said, I want to give you the baby. And so Faith was born in May of 2005. And then just to backtrack a little bit, in February of 2005, just about a month after Barbara had said, we'll give you the baby, Julie and I were on vacation down in Orlando, Florida. We were at Disney World and Epcot and all that kind of stuff. So one night we went over to Babies R Us to kind of check out, the gliders, and what do you think about this one? I don't like this one. We try this one. And after a while, Julie said, I don't feel so good. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And she said, I think I'm pregnant. And I said, by who? What are you talking about? She goes, let's go get a pregnancy test. I'm like, I'm sure it's just something you ate or something like that. And so we got a pregnancy test, and I said, what does 2 pink stripes mean? And she said, it would mean I'm pregnant. Well, you're pregnant. And so,
Oh, wow. Oh,
and it is by me, just let everybody know, make sure we're clear on that.
yeah.
And so Faith was born in May of 05, and then Joshua arrived in October of 05. So Faith is 16, and Joshua will turn 16 on the 16th of October.
Wow.
So it's been a wild ride, but it's, the great thing is we got out of diapers at the same time. We
That's
got out
true.
of high chairs at the same time, got out of everything at the same time. Then I know some people have like 3 or 4 kids and they're in diapers for like 8 or 9 years. I mean,
That's right.
just stretch it out there. So anyway,
And that also means you'll have 2 drivers at the same time and 2 in college at the same time.
Yes, we have 2 permitted drivers right now. So that's we're waiting as long as we can for them to become have a driver's license, because as soon as that happens, then the insurance kind of goes up a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a little bit, it goes up a lot. So.
And so get ready to enjoy another ride.
Yes, the ride will continue.
Yeah. One of the things I remember, because my kids weren't that close, mine were 20 months apart.
Oh, wow.
And so, my actual diaper thing did go out a little, but we just had the 2. And I remember when they were hitting about that 14, 15 age, because like I said, they were two years apart in school, but just the 20 months. And I remember thinking, oh man, I'm so tired of driving here and there, and carpool or all that stuff. And I thought, oh, I can't wait till they can both drive. It's going to be, or at least when Justin drives first, right? But what the reality was, when that happened, I was really sad, because that time that I spent in the car was really a great time. I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. You get caught up in the everyday stuff that goes on. It's like, okay, whatever it is. But yeah,
it reminds me of someone who said, well, make sure you spend quality time with your kids. Well, you never know when the quality time is going to show up. It comes in the most unexpected times, unexpected ways. And like you said, sometimes it happens in the car.
Yeah.
I know I was driving with Faith and we were driving to church, and then she's been kind of talking about this boy named Cody. And I said, are you all like boyfriend, girlfriend? And she, yes. And, oh, well, tell me how you're feeling about that. And so it just started this conversation that I never would have anticipated, but it happened, just like you said, in the confines of the car, just on the way to church, and just, it was very unexpected, but yet very, very poignant and very sweet and intimate. And it was very nice.
Yeah. You just, like I say, you just don't know when those times are. So, sometimes we think, it's like, oh man, it's gonna be so great when they can drive. Well, yeah. Then all this, and then when Alicia drove, by the time both of them were driving, that time in the morning and that time in the afternoon, because once they get home, they kind of then go into whatever they're doing, homework or, because if it changes once you walk in the door, so anyway, kind of miss that. So just to let you know.
Karen says that her kids are 13 months apart.
Oh, Karen.
My goodness gracious.
I didn't realize that.
Why did Karen wait so long between the 2?
So hi, Terry Ann. Her name shows up there as Mary Ann, but her name is Terry Ann. So hi, and Terry and Karen are both from Kansas City, and Lisa, of course, I think you know Lisa. She's here in Vegas, and Carrie is also here in Vegas.
Fantastic. Lisa said howdy.
Yeah. So, well, David, I just love. I went, of course, and looked at your website, and you're doing lots of cool things. But tell us about, so your kind of your motto, your phrase, I don't know what your tagline, whatever that's called.
My mantra.
Yeah. Your mantra. Oh, there we go. Okay, is laughing often leads to fearless living. So what is that about?
Yeah, so laugh often and fear not. So I got bracelets. Fear not. Laugh.
I love it. I love it.
Often Laugh often, fear not. Yeah. Um, so that it started a long. I mean, number one, I love to laugh. Laughter and humor and levity have such incredible benefits to the soul and to the human body. I mean, just laughing in and of itself, it's some studies have shown that you can't be mad and laugh at the same time. So it reduces anger, so that's always a good thing. But laughter releases. I mean, there's lots of. I'm not going to get into all the science of it, but just when you laugh, just releases all these hormones, dopamine, and all these things that just they make you feel good. They increase your immune system. They make you think more creatively, more outside the box. It's studies have shown that if you're getting ready to make a really big decision, your best bet is not to become real serious. It's to have just to laugh a lot before you make that big decision, because laughing allows it opens the mind. I mean, if you think about it, it just opens it. If your decision base is fear based, like, oh no, I don't want to make a mistake. Oh, and you just look at the body language, tighten up, and everything constricts and everything. So, humor in the workplace fosters better relationships with coworkers, allows you to be a better teammate, allows you to be more cooperative. It's a great coping mechanism in a positive, healthy way. So I always give a benediction at the end of a church service. And so one time at the very end, I just said, and laugh often, just laugh often. And so someone said, I really like that. So I'm like, all right, I'll stay with it. So I stayed with that for a while. And then I was reading, this is kind of a crazy story, but I'd heard several well-known preachers say, do you know how many times fear not is mentioned in the Bible? 366 times, one for every day of the year, including leap year. And so I just took their word for it. I'm like, there you go. So let's be, I think I did a sermon series on fear not and being fearless and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the benediction, I'd say, laugh often and fear not. And the whole congregation says that out loud and everything. And so I preached that for years, 366 times. And then one time I thought, I think I'll look that up myself, see how many times it really is in there. And it's only in there about 86 times. So it's not 366, but it's in there a lot to get the message of fear not. So that's just it's been my mantra, how to live a fearless life. Well, laughing often helps you live a fearless life.
Yeah, and I think too, it also makes you more fun to be with, and you have more friends. So you have, just who wants to be around somebody who's just either whiny or negative all the time? And if, like you said, if you're laughing, then that positive thing opens up yourself. It also opens up so others can relate to you better.
Right.
Right.
Allows you to be more. Anytime you make, if you were to make a joke or make a comment that would elicit laughter, it makes us more vulnerable. It opens us up, and I think that who does these studies? I mean, of course, I know who they are, but I mean, it's crazy that these studies are actually done. But for us to build trust, it might take 17 connections, for us to build a good amount of trust. But if we can laugh together pretty heartily, then we can build trust immediately. I mean, it'll come in much quicker than just the, wait, talk, and then, but if we can laugh together, that just, I think it was, I can't remember exactly who it was, but the shortest distance between two people is laughter.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you can laugh together. Yeah, and this is a fascinating thing. I think it's for men and women. What they look most for in a partner is a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That doesn't surprise me. I can see why that would be. I haven't ever seen that study or anything.
You can't laugh together. Well, then, what's the point? I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty boring life.
that's right.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Man.
Well, I understand because we had a great conversation yesterday that you've kind of in the last couple of years taken that to a different level. You don't just like humor and that kind of stuff. You've actually changed or added to your repertoire being a stand-up comic. So tell us about that.
Stand-up comedian. It's
I love
hard
it.
to say, oh, I'm a stand-up comedian, because everyone always said, tell us a joke, and that's not necessarily the point. But it's yeah, I grew up on Johnny Carson, grew up on the West Coast, and my parents would say, you can stay up through the monologue of Johnny Carson. And I was just always fascinated. How do these people get up in front of a group of people and make the audience laugh? Because like I said, I love to laugh, and I was always just fascinated about just what a challenge that must be. And so I've just watched comedians, over the years. I've always been fascinated by it. And then a couple of years ago, someone said to me, about four people came out of church one day and said, you ought to be a stand-up comedian. And I thought, I've always wanted to try it. And so ran into a guy here in Vegas. His name is Matt Kazan. He used to be a headliner down on the Strip. And he was offering a course on how to be a stand-up comedian. He called it the Stand-Up Comic Challenge or something like that. But you take the course, and to graduate, you have to do a routine at Caroline's Comedy Club on Broadway in Times Square in New York City.
Unbelievable. Oh my gosh.
Probably the most famous comedy club, in America. And I thought, okay, I want to do that. I'll give that a shot. And it was months of preparation. And I speak in front of people all the time. And I get excited. There's kind of a nervous excitedness about it. But I'm telling you what, Delinda, when I was standing in the wings getting ready to come on stage, I thought to myself, how am I going to hold the microphone? My hand was shaking. I was just shaking. I was so nervous. But I got there, and I was up there for 16 minutes, and it was one of the highlights of my life. They laughed at the right times. They laughed even when I didn't think they were going to laugh, and I learned a great lesson. I mean, I learned lots of lessons, but one of the great lessons was I always thought that people at comedy clubs would just be like, all right, make me laugh,
Oh no.
but that's not the case at all. They're there too. They're there for a reason. They want to laugh, and so they're pulling for you. They're rooting for you. They're laughing with you, and it was just a great. I mean, one of the highlights of my life, and so and then of course 6 weeks later the pandemic hit, and so there hasn't been a whole lot of opportunities since then. But we did do a comedy hour show at the church back in July, kind of celebrating reopening and all this kind of stuff. And my humor coach, Matt Kazan, he came out and did 45 minutes. I did 15 minutes, and it was great. One lady left, and she laughed so hard she broke a rib. So
That's hard to believe. Like, what?
I know. She's like, oh, my sides hurt so bad. And then she came back next week. So I broke a rib. I thought, oh gosh. Oh man. But it's it's a wonder. It's an amazing challenge. And it just all of us can find humor in it's just everyday. It's just a different perspective. It's just, even like when my mom passed away, things happened. She passed away in April. Things happened, when she passed away, that I thought, this is comedy material. This is you can't make this stuff up. The mom passed away, and the funeral home called, and we called the funeral home. Hey, mom passed away. You need to come pick her up. And the guy's like, well, how big a girl is she? And I thought, what? I mean, oh, we need to know. Do we bring the F-150, the F-250, the dually, the flatbed? I mean, it's like, what? I mean, just crazy. So, uh, you know, so there's humor everywhere. You just look for it.
And it sounds like, that it's really, I guess, sort of how you look at life. So if you have these circumstances that are happening to you, and if you're always looking at how bad it is, and all the, oh, woe is me, you're not going to see the humor. But if you're looking, like you just said, if you're looking for the humor, if you're looking for the silver lining, or the, that positive way, because it's not what happens to us so much as how we react and what do we do with what happens, right? So from a comedian standpoint, the best comedians use real life stuff.
Absolutely. And humor, the most, there's a lot of things that make us laugh, but the number one thing that makes us laugh is incongruity. What we expect to happen versus what actually happened, and that's why they call it the punchline. You're expecting it to be this, and then, oh no, it was something else altogether, and oh, it catches you off guard, and it makes you laugh. And how many times does life not work out the way we think it will? We're working on a project, you have a deadline. Does everything go oh yeah, just fine? No. There's so many left turns and right turns and backwards. I mean, there's so many things that happen that you didn't expect to happen. Why not laugh about that and, have that tension release and all those kind of things. So
that is very cool. So your family has just grown up with listening to Dad, looking at life a little differently.
Yes, and we laugh a lot, that's for sure.
That is so great. I love that. So we'll have to think about it. So sometime when you're performing in town, send me out a little message.
Okay.
So I can come. That'd be so fun.
I sure will. I perform every Sunday morning, so.
And I will be over to see you some Sunday morning.
No, I'd love to have it. Absolutely, that'd be great.
Yeah, like I said, I know I'm traveling this weekend to surprise my sister. She doesn't know I'm coming for her birthday, and so I'm gonna
open that door and just go, oh my gosh.
That is the plan. That is the plan. So
well, hopefully she's not watching the show.
No, she doesn't. In fact, she doesn't do Facebook at all, so I don't have to ever worry about that. But I actually use it's kind of funny, and oh, we didn't even get to talk about your family. Well, you have to come back
Okay, let's come back.
Yeah, I love that. But I always tease because that she remembers more about my life than I do. I just don't remember things. She remembers everything. So she'll start saying, well, you remember women? And I'm like, clueless. No, she'll say, Delinda, how can't you remember? I said, I don't know. My husband, bless his heart, he's so sweet to me. And I'll say this, like, I don't know why I just can't remember things. He says, honey, you have so much music in your head, you just don't have room for all that other stuff. Well, maybe that's it. I can get up and sing an hour and a half concert and memorize every word of every song, but I can't remember, some little thing in my
head. That's a real gift and talent right there. My goodness gracious.
So anyway, well, and I say, so Kathy says laughter really does change things, and it really does. And hi, Grace, I hadn't said good morning to you yet. And we're just glad all of y'all are joined us this morning. And can you even believe we're at the top of the hour already?
I know it. Well, there's great scripture there. I'm sure I'm not quoting it correctly, but a cheerful heart is good for the soul.
Yeah.
So laughter, as Kathy, laughter changes things. Laughter is the best medicine. It really does does amazing things for the body. So
love that,
and for the soul. I mean, my goodness.
We'll have to. We have a great friend and a guest who comes on every couple of months, Lynn Franklin, and she's a neuroscientist. She's a brainiac, and so she is always telling us about that. So I'm anxious to ask her why that really is about the neurons and how they do them. What laughter does that? Wouldn't that be cool to know?
That'd be fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, one last thing. Don't forget, if you want to buy a book.
There you go. Yeah, Sense and God at Work every day. And there's a store. Where did that come from?
You can buy it on Amazon.
Oh, very good. Very good.
God at Work every day. The 40-day challenge. It's a great daily devotional, 40 days. And where do you see God at work in your world and in your life? And there's some good humor in that book as well. So
I love it. I'll have to go to Amazon, check it out. Can you also get it? Is it there on your website? If we go check out your website, I didn't look that closely to see. Do you have a link on there?
You have to go to Amazon. So
just go to Amazon. Okay. Well, that we all know how to do.
The easiest way, just go to Amazon.
Let's say she says put the Amazon. Looks like David can't actually put something in the chat box. She says put the Amazon here.
So if you just go to Amazon, put in David Dendy.
Yeah, and you should fill it up. Yeah, you should fill it up. So, okay. So, what one last thing? Your book you just said. What one last thought do you want to leave with us as we close this morning?
Well, laugh often and fear not. I mean, it's just fear. I mean, obviously, fear. God instilled all of us fear for a reason. In the respect of if you're being chased by a bear, fear gets the adrenaline going to run from the bear. But then also Scripture says God did not give us a spirit of fear. So where does the fear come from? If I'm afraid of life, afraid of living, where does that fear? It's not originating from God. It's coming from outside sources out there somewhere. So let's be fearless and let's be courageous and let's not allow the fear to stop us from enjoying life and laughing often.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, David. So glad to have you on. I am going to make a time to have you come back.
I'd love to come back.
Yay! We will put it on the calendar. I love that. So as we close this morning, I will close with my usual thought in that life is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. So go out and choose wisely and decide that you're going to laugh often and fear not.
Fear not. Amen.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for being here.
You bet. Yeah.